Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Steve Polis, and I'd like to talk to you about success in dentistry. And we're going to talk about some secret weapons for success. And I'm going to do the introduction now and come up with some of the things that you need to think about and some of the things you need to do to be successful. Now, one of the big things is mental preparedness and mindset. A lot of times you think, well, gosh, I've got a good mindset and I've got good mental preparedness, but there's some hidden things that are going on with all of us. You've heard some things about money. Uh, your parents had some sayings. Your friends, your teachers, your colleagues. There'd be things like money doesn't grow on trees. Uh, Money is the root of all evil. And if that's been ingrained in your subconscious, you're going to have that and have it interfere with your thought processes, even though you say, well, actively I'm aware, money is okay, there's no problem with money. But there's some steps that I'd like you to go through. Now, one of the best books and programs on this is by T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And he has a series of uh, incantations or affirmations that he would recommend that you would read every day. Now, you have to set up what you think is best for you, but I would have you resource that book and start working on your secret weapons for changing your money mindset. Now, everyone has set points on other things. So, like, you may have a set point of what you think an ideal car is. You may have a set point of what you think an ideal home is. And you have a set point of what you think your ideal weight is, and what your ideal friends are, and what your ideal uh, spouse or significant other is. It's different with everyone, but you've still got this set point and this thought in your mind that oh, this is what I am. So in some of the professional things, you rate yourself by how many thousands of dollars you produce a month. And someone may be a $50,000 a month producer, and someone may be a $70,000 a month producer. And there's someone else that's a $110,000 a month producer. So that set point, some of it uh, happens by the way you present yourself, and other parts happen by the internal dialogue that's going on with you. Now, my weight set point is not what it should be. I got these chubby little cheeks, and I've got to start doing my affirmations that I am a healthy person and that I want to live to a ripe old age. And the way I'll do that is by attaining a certain weight. So my set point weight is 178. Right now I'm 199. So we're looking at losing about 22 pounds. So along this journey, let's see what you have. Now, I've been very blessed that I've got a very wonderful wife. I've been happy with her. We've been married 42 years. Now, some of you may be younger than I am. Some of you may be as old as I am. Some of you may be older. I don't know who's watching this program, but you all have a set point, and you all need to evaluate that. Now, if you're happy with your set point, well, then you're pretty well, uh, not going to really need this program, because where you're at is where you're at. Now, my intention with this program is that I will teach you how to make at least 10,000 more a month than you're making right now. And whatever your set point is and whatever your monthly collections are, I'd like to hear from you as to what your 3-month rolling average is. So right now it's March, and I want to find out what you produced in December, January, and February. You can add those three together and divide by 3, and then you'll have your rolling average. And then see where you're on track for March. So January, February, December, those are those 3 months. And then the other thing to compare is what you did March of last year. Now, this has been a rather unusual period of history with the pandemic and with the government inflation to stimulate the economy. The U.S. has admitted adding $7 trillion to the budget deficit. And my guess is that they've added more, probably in the neighborhood of 21 to 28 trillion. Now, $1 million, you know what $1 million is. 100 million is 100 million, and 1,000 million is a billion. So, like 100 billion is 100 billion, 1,000 billion is a trillion. So, just in the scope of things, that's really a lot. And I've talked to a lot of dentists, and they've all done well during this period of time. Anyone that's been open and been at all focused on taking care of clients has done well. And there's basically three ways that you raise the income that you earn. Number one would be with the amount of patients you see. Number two would be the procedures you do on those patients, whether it's $500 or whether it's 5,000. And then number three is the types of procedures. So like if you don't know how to do implants, or if you don't know how to do root canals, or if you don't know how to do tooth straightening, those are things you can add that will easily put the extra 10,000 a month to your bottom line. Now, some of it takes some time and some effort to learn. So like if you don't know how to do extractions, you would need to find some surgery courses. There's a lot of things you can find on YouTube that will teach you how to do extractions. There's a couple of courses, if you do a search, how to do third molar extractions, how to do full mouth extractions. If you want to learn how to place implants, you can learn planning to place implants, placing implants, gauging the type of bone that you're going into, deciding if you're doing all on four or if you're doing 2 or 3 implants that have implant supported bridges. With clear aligners, there's obviously Invisalign, the brand name, but there's also some other aligner companies that are coming on strong. And it's worth learning about those and finding out what can be done. Now, in later chapters, we're going to go into some of the clinical steps that you can take and some of the things you can do to improve your knowledge of that. And then root canals are the same way. Now, root canals, if you don't have teeth that you're extracting, you might go to your friendly oral surgeon and say, hey, I'd like to have a few extracted teeth. I want to learn how to do root canals. And the way you do it is, again, you can watch a YouTube, and then you can also, you want to practice after you see the YouTube. So get a set of files, and you need to take some time, either after work, before work, during lunch, and open a tooth, irrigate it out real good, and find the canals. So you can read your books. They'll tell you which teeth have auxiliary canals. So those are the things that can trip up general dentists. Sometimes your centrals and laterals and cuspids will have 2 canals. You've got to look for that. Your bicuspids oftentimes will have 2, sometimes 3, and other times 1 canal. And you've just got to get familiar with that anatomy. Now, I assume everyone in this day and age has magnification glasses. If you don't, you need to get some. There's several companies, they're brand name companies, and then if you're on a tight budget, there's some magnifiers on eBay. They're relatively inexpensive. They work pretty good. They don't work as great as getting a Designs for Vision. And I like at least 3.5 times magnification, sometimes more, and you need a light. So having a light is one very helpful thing with that. So we're going to talk about the steps that you go about conditioning your mind, and we're going to have you develop a worksheet. So with the worksheet, you can do it either in your Google Docs, you can do it with Microsoft Office, you can do it the old-fashioned way in a hand journal, whichever works best for you. And at first, I would say try 2 of them and see which one you like better. I am a little old school. I like a hand journal, but sometimes I misplace them. So that's the advantage of using an online one, is it's stored and kept. But I have a certain feeling that I get when I put hand to paper, and it's a different feeling. And it's an interesting thing to look at how the brain and body learns things. There are some people that learn things visually. We call those visual learners. There are some people that learn things auditorily. So they'll do better if they listen to a textbook than if they read the textbook. And then there's people that are kinesthetic. Those are people that feel things. So all of us have all 3 components. So I'm very visual, I'm very auditory, but there's something about the touch. I like touching pen and paper. Again, some of you have grown up with nothing but computers, so pen and paper probably feel weird and foreign. You want to have things computerized. And then the other thing you want to do is have a calendar with a to-do list. And you want to have 3 things every day that you get done. And you want to have maybe 5 or 10 things on that list. So once you do the top 10 things that need to be done, pick your top 3 out of that and get those done. And then maybe you want to have the top 5 that get done. Again, if you're going to go for this program of adding 10,000 a month to your earnings, you've got to figure out the mathematics of that. So if you develop your ability to ask for more treatment acceptance, sometimes you'll do 2 crowns when you would have done 1. That's a pretty simple thing to catch up on there. And that only takes you doing that 6 to 7 times, depending on what you charge for a crown. Now, some people, because of being in a PPO insurance, are going to be able to charge like 700 or 800. So to get to 10,000 from 800, that would be 12 crowns. If you're doing root canals and you haven't done them before, again, you're anywhere between 700 and 1,000. You're looking at 8 to 12 again. So that's an easy way there. If you're doing clear aligners and you're charging 4,000 for a case or 5,000 for a case, that's only 2 or 3 cases. So again, you never know who needs clear aligners until you ask. So we tend to ask every patient that's got some crooked teeth, when you see them in your hygiene, you say, oh gosh, what's going on here? Now, the other part we're going to talk about is marketing. So there's multiple ways to market. If you have an existing practice, you should have an email list and a text list, and you should have some software that allows you to contact your patients. So you can do a promotional thing of saying, oh, hey, I'm going to offer a special on clear aligners this month. Normally we charge 6,000 for them, 2,000 off this month if you start. So depending on what that's compared to in your town, that may be a perfect offer and a perfect opportunity to get those 4 starts. With your oral surgery, some of you are going to never like to do oral surgery. Some of you have got the tools, but you're just a little hesitant. And again, that gets into confidence. How you see yourself. Are you an oral surgeon dentist? Or are you just a crown and bridge filling dentist? Again, neither one is right, and you have to do what's best for you and what feels good. Now, I've spent a lot of time on some oral surgery that I think I wasted, but I've also had some cases where I've done it relatively quickly and efficiently. And if I add the bone graft, so like if you don't know your steps on bone grafting, we usually charge anywhere from $250 to $350 per site for bone graft. So if you do 4 sites, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,200 there. 8 to 10 patients in a month, and that's your extra 10,000. Now, the other thing that a lot of dentists have is they've evolved into their ideal dental lifestyle, which is Monday through Thursday or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, with Wednesday off. So almost all dentists will work this 4-day week. Now, the thing that can be done is 2 things. One is you can bring on an associate dentist or a partner dentist that will cover the days that you aren't there. So there are some young dentists that would like to get more hours, more dollars, and start building up a fund to start their own practice. But here's the opportunity is you can offer to sell them or have them earn a part of your practice. I would recommend initially anywhere from 10 to 25%. And depending on the appraised value, and I know the DSOs are paying a lot, and they're making their payments based on what they call EBITDA, which is earnings after expenses and taxes. So if you're producing 80,000 a month and you're taking home 30 of that, if you can add an associate, your basic overhead increase is going to be with your staff, whether it be 2 or 3 people, and with a little bit of extra lighting and a little bit of extra supply cost. Again, there's some tricks that we can show you on how to save money on supplies and save money on lab costs. There's big savings in labs. We can get crowns down to anywhere from $20 to $35. And they're good quality zirconia crowns. So that's one of the things that you're going to learn in this program. So I want you to set out tonight, get your journal, and you want to go into what are your money beliefs? What do you think your set point is on your monthly income? What do you think your ideal car is? What do you think your ideal home is? And in your family, if you have your ideal spouse, appreciate that. If you don't, you can sort of write a description of what you think your ideal spouse would look like and be like. What kind of values does she have? What kind of values do you have? And then you can get the book or the audio tape, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. That should be your assignment for the first week. And then I'd like to hear back from you. We'll have a Facebook group going, but we'll also have an account in Slack. So if you're interested in following up with us and learning how to grow your practice, then send an email to Dr. Steve Polis at Gmail. It's Dr. Steve, Steve, and my last name is spelled Poulos at Gmail. So that's all for now. If you want to call or text me, my cell phone is 602-881-2474. Thanks a bunch and have a great night.